You can also listen to us on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/theclockcleaners.
Hello and welcome to the Clock Cleaners Podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Keith.
And today we'll be recapping Raw from August 28th.
Yes. So this was a good episode of Raw.
That was a really good episode of Raw.
Yeah.
I would dare to say probably the best one in quite some time. I would say for sure this calendar year.
It's kind of hard to
remember
debate that. Well, there's that too. But I mean, I don't know. After that promo, it's a little hard
to have anything beat it.
Yeah, I mean that was something.
It's cool when one thing like completely makes a show.
Yeah.
So even going into it, I knew it was good, or I thought it was good. So that's kind of certainly a plus.
Oh yeah. That when we get to it, I'll bring up my
thoughts.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we'll go with that, right?
Yeah.
What our whole thing is, express our thoughts and whatnot.
Sure.
Yeah. So, anyway, we open the show with the announcement that there's going to be a contract signing between Roman Reigns and John Cena for a match at No Mercy.
Yeah, a whole month before the pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're still in August.
Yeah. So, it's weird that they're, like, setting up everything so early.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing by any stretch, but it's just normally they, like, do the contract signings, like, the week before or whatever.
Yeah.
So, it's just different.
Yep.
But, yeah. So, after that, well, that was kind of like an announcement. This played a...
Well, that's how they open the show, like, right after they throw the intro in.
Yeah. It was just a graphic. Mm-hmm. So, the beginning of the show had the Miz Taraj coming out to the ring. It was all four of them: Dallas, Axel, Miz, and Maurice. Yes. And as soon as the Miz started to talk, Kurt Angle's music played. Mm-hmm. So Angle comes out, makes an announcement, he comes out, he has a back and forth with Miz. Miz is bitching about how he doesn't...
Something about respect, right?
The title cannot be treated correctly if it's not being treated correctly, it won't be respected.
Yes, that's what it was.
So, and he was complaining about not being on SummerSlam and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So Angle decides to make a battle royal to determine the number one contender who will face The Miz next week for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm always a sucker for these type of matches.
I love battle royals.
Yeah.
They're cool.
I like battle royals, gauntlet matches, anything that's just
different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's not SmackDown, so it is actually kind of different.
Yeah, it's true.
Because SmackDown is the land of battle royals.
We didn't get a weird finish.
Oh, you mean like where
with Harper and AJ, where
landing at the same time?
That whole debacle.
Yeah.
They landed at the same time, but we're not going to show you the camera angle that shows who really landed first.
Mm-hmm. So, he said that Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas will both be in the match, which they kept on kind of bringing up. It's like, what if they win?
Yeah.
Which is kind of stupid, because obviously they're not going to win.
We got the finger poke of doom, part 2.
Yes. But yeah, the first person to come out was the Big Show, which was kind of funny.
The clean-shaven Big Show.
Yeah, he looked weird.
Like a giant penis.
Yes, or a thumb.
There you go.
Anyway, so Kurt Hawkins was also in this match, and Kurt Hawkins was the first to be eliminated.
So he posted up on Twitter, I don't know if it was yesterday or it probably was yesterday, but I guess back in when Bret Hart maybe won the title or something like that, all the roster came out, had him on the shoulders, and he was showing the picture of that compared to everybody holding him up in the ring.
Yeah.
And he was just comparing the two.
It's
good stuff.
But yeah, it was funny. They, I think it was Cole called him Curtis Hawkins when he was getting thrown out of the ring. That's honestly, I think, the only reason why I noted it, because that was pretty funny. Yeah, at one point, the Hardys kept on setting up the Big Show to slap people in the corner. There was like
that was good.
4 or 5 of them, I think, in a row.
Yeah. And then, what was it? Gallows and Anderson had the Big Show near the ropes, and then Finn came over, and they all 3 of them were able to put him over.
There was a Bullet Club reunion.
Yeah, they were going to go for a 2 Sweet, and then they got interrupted by somebody.
It's probably like, maybe Elias at this point? Because there wasn't that many heels left.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a good match.
So,
There's a lot of tag
You
teams working
noted
together.
Graves picking a number of different people. Did you watch the introduction to the Mae Young Classic where they did that bracketology
No.
or whatever? He did the same thing there. So every time they would announce a new person in the tournament, he'd be like, yeah, that's my pick. Yeah, that's my pick.
Well, it's funny because he stole that from King, because during every single Royal Rumble, he'd just pick different people to be his pick.
Speaking of which, since they were in Memphis, Tennessee, the King was there on commentary.
Yeah, well, I think this was more of, since Booker T wasn't able to make it, they gave it, or they had King. I think King was already supposed to be there for another thing that happened later on.
Yeah,
but
he wrestled Cody Rhodes, I think, recently. Maybe
Really?
a week or two ago.
that doesn't sound like a good idea. Anyway.
Well, I think that's part of the reason that he parted ways with them, besides everything that's happened in the man's life. But I think they won't clear him to wrestle after what happened.
Well, he almost died on
know.
TV.
I know.
So that seems kind of fair.
No, absolutely.
Anyway, so
yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
right.
yeah, okay.
So yeah, Finn started kind of gaining momentum, and we kind of figured that he was going to be the one to win the
well,
match.
yeah, like as soon as
This was one of them too.
what? Oh, the things that bugged you?
Yeah.
So going into the match, because I had spoken about last week that I think that Finn should take the IC title from The Miz.
Yep.
Apparently, they like to tease me. But yeah, so what happened was Finn was on a roll, and then oogity boogity happened.
And your favorite wrestler came in.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt comes out, throws Balor out of the ring, and that was the end of it.
I was like, I was going to text you and be like, when you have something that you love and somebody just takes it and throws it on the ground and stomps on it?
It's terrible.
That's Bray Wyatt coming in and this feud continuing.
Yeah, so that's a shame.
Yeah, a little bit.
So the final three ended up being Jeff Hardy, Jason Jordan, and
you
Elias.
just wrote JJ. I thought it was Jeff Jarrett.
No, it wasn't Jeff
I was
Jarrett.
confused.
It's not the real Double J.
Yeah.
No, the real Double J was
Jesse James.
yes, that was Road Dogg. Anyway, so the way that they had been kind of building Jordan to be like the next contender for the IC title, kind of had a feeling that maybe it was going to be him.
Yeah.
But Jordan eliminates Elias, and then almost immediately after, he gets eliminated by Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
So we'll be getting Jeff Hardy versus The Miz next week, which is actually pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about that.
Because for the first time in a while, they're not wasting the Hardys.
Yeah.
Because I don't care what anyone says, having them just do tag team stuff is a waste of the Hardys.
At this point in their careers, absolutely.
Yeah,
because
you
of how
can-
much they've done in a single,
Yeah, if they're not holding the titles, they should be having singles matches with anybody and still doing the tag team stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, Jeff was a big name in WWE.
Yeah.
And then Matt made a name
He's
for
going
himself in TNA.
Yeah, well, Matt was kind
That's
of a
true,
big name too.
with the whole version 2 and everything. Yeah, he was making a name for himself.
Yeah, there was Matt. I think left mostly because Jeff was in TNA.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why Matt left, because he stayed longer than Jeff did.
Right. Yeah, well, he was, after all his drug problems and whatnot.
Well, that's why Jeff left. But,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know.
but I think he's going for his 5th IC title. I think they said.
Something like that.
But yeah, there's no reason for Jeff not to be having singles matches with people, even if because it's just the problem with the way they see things. Yeah. It's like, they're a tag team, so they can only do tag team stuff. It's the same thing with the cruiserweights. It's the same thing with everything else.
It's true.
But yeah, Jeff wins. Very exciting.
Yep.
Can't wait for the match next week. Hopefully he wins, but it's not very likely.
Yeah.
Probably just set up a match for No Mercy. So
because originally we heard that. Well, I had heard that the plan was Joe versus The Miz.
yeah,
And
it
now
still
Joe's out
doesn't.
for 5 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that.
Between a month or two.
Yeah. With a knee injury, which seems to be the common
Well, everyone's
theme.
getting hurt.
Yeah.
Also, apparently you're supposed to wrestle Cena on
Yes.
Raw, but he ended up not doing that, I guess, because he was injured. But then that's why they did the whole contract signing, I guess.
Well, it
'Cause
might
they're-
have been after that.
Well, I would imagine that they would just have put this off till later,
That's
closer to the
fair.
pay-per-view, which would make more sense. Yeah. But yeah, so up next, if you want to.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
So Alexa Bliss was interviewed by Charlie, and she was asked how she planned on taking the title back, and she's kind of been reiterating the same thing recently, that who cares that Charlotte won it because she can't defend it.
Charlotte didn't win.
Sasha, I'm sorry. Forget about that. Yeah. So that was it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Sasha's hasn't defended her title, which they kept on noting that she's never successfully defended the women's title.
Yeah.
So it's certainly an interesting fact.
Yeah.
But I also don't think they did that on purpose. They kind of just
threw it in there.
Yeah, they kept. No, I mean the having her never defend it. I think that was strictly a coincidence.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What was it? Yeah, she would win it on Raw, and then Charlotte would win it at the pay-per-view
with her rematch clause.
Right.
But a lot of the times it was mostly just to get the ratings up on Raw by putting them on last.
Yeah.
So, also, because that was the main event tonight, I kind of like, oh, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
I knew it before. Once they announced that the Reigns and Cena thing wasn't going, or when they said that was up next, that's when I knew that that's probably what they were going to do with the women's title.
I mean, it could have had a little to do with the whole Mae Young Classic being this week starting too. They might have.
Oh no, I'm not saying that's. No, I'm not saying that there was a reason behind. There was not just one reason. I'm just saying that I kind of knew that's where they were going.
Yeah, no, it made sense because that's what happened when. Yeah, we'll get into it when we get there.
Yeah.
So
yep, go ahead.
Up next, we had Enzo's debut in the 205 Live match.
Division.
Sure, whatever you want to call it. Stupid.
First cruiserweight match.
Yeah, there you go. Are they really referred to cruiserweights that much?
Yeah, all the time.
Are they? Yeah, I guess so.
All the time.
It's so dumb. Because that's probably my favorite show.
The 205 Live?
Yeah.
It's better than it was, that's for sure.
I feel like you have time to build story. Characters are always interacting with each other.
They also have more freedom.
Yeah. There's not too much filler, except when they do stupid crap with Jack Gallagher and Brian Kendrick.
Well, yeah. So
yeah, I was a big advocate of Enzo coming over, and I'm starting to sour a little bit, but I don't want to, call it too soon.
I disagree.
That's
fine.
I
think it's great. I think having him bring some life to the division. Not that it's been bad, but you're taking someone who the fans love and putting him in a place that there's not a whole lot of like fan interaction going on. So that's because if you have him come out every week and just for the live fans after SmackDown, you just have something that people can stay to look forward to. So it's
but it's like 205 Live is one of the only shows where the wrestling is what matters, and that's what draws everybody in, and that's not Enzo. But I get what you're saying.
I was gonna say the whole point.
I know, but it's just like it's gonna kill the whole dynamic of the show.
I don't think so, because I think if there was a lot of people like that, it'd be one thing.
Right.
But he is the guy.
That's true.
So because they kind of did it a little bit with Gulak.
Yeah.
With his whole like the anti-high flying shtick or whatever.
And no fly zone.
Yeah, that's great though. I like
it's
that.
Classic.
But that was more of I'm more of a mouthpiece than I am a wrestler. Even though he did wrestle, but it wasn't
a ground wrestler.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a very short match.
Yeah.
But, it's fine. It's on Raw. It's a cruiserweight match.
It just looked like they were stumbling over each other.
Yeah, certainly wasn't a good match by any means. Enzo hit a different, because I guess he's never actually finished a match before without.
Eat defeat.
Well, actually, they changed the name.
Did they?
Yes. It's the Jordanizer or something like that, because he ate his Jordans.
I guess so.
Yeah, well, they said it on 205 Live.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah. It was different, but it's just basically like a kick.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you pull the person's hand face down or by their arm, pull them down by their arm and kick them in the face. That's basically it.
So, very simple.
Yeah. So after the match, Charlie's backstage with Neville and kind of asked Neville what he thinks about Enzo, and he basically says, if that's my best competition, then I'm going to hold this title forever.
Yeah.
Which, do you think that's what it's going to be?
That he
Neville's
holds
going to underestimate Enzo? We're going to get an actual good match out of Enzo, and he's going to take the title from him?
Possible. For a second, I thought you were actually going to go with he's going to hold the title forever.
Yes. No.
Because that makes no sense. That would be the dumbest thing to ever do.
No.
I can live with Enzo being cruiserweight champion for a short spell.
Yeah.
Because what it's going to do is that it's going to lead to another heel getting the title.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Because it's kind of been the dynamic, whereas mostly just the baby faces chasing the title.
Mm-hmm.
So having a heel chase the title will change things up a little bit.
Yeah. Having Neville go crazy on how he got beat by
And I think
dirtbag looking guy.
so. But yeah, like I said, I like the idea of Enzo having the title just based off the fact that it's going to bring more faces or more eyes to 205 Live, and I have no problem with Enzo because I think he's not a great wrestler, but he's a great character.
Yeah.
So I anytime that's the case, then you have to at least give him a shot.
It's true.
So that's my opinion.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point of the main roster is basically the characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
So
kind of 205 Live NXT kind of hovers over.
but that's the problem though, because 205 Live is not NXT.
I know.
When was the last time you saw an NXT wrestler on 205?
Only Lorcan.
No, I was gonna say
Which
last time you saw.
He tweeted out that he wants Enzo. I want to see that so bad.
When was the last time you
you
saw a 205 Live cruiserweight on NXT? That's what I meant to ask. Because the answer is T.J. Perkins against Shinsuke Nakamura.
That match was fantastic.
But that was also before Nakamura came up, so that was a while ago.
True.
So they really don't want to mesh the two. That was my point.
Very good.
So
let's move on.
all right. Is it my turn?
It's sure. Take
Okay.
it.
So up next we have the Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar segment.
Yes.
So it seems as if Heyman has changed his strategy lately, because the last few opponents, at least,
He's
all
made
he's
them to be worthy of contenders.
Yeah,
he kind of made a story. He definitely was putting Strowman over.
100%. That's all he did,
and that's what he did with Joe too.
Yeah. So the last two, at least, maybe, because the Fatal 4-Way had two of the three anyway, and Reigns, I guess, since their match at WrestleMania 31, they kind of have that history anyway. So there's no reason to put down Reigns.
Somebody already did that for him.
That didn't happen yet. So anyway, he spoke very highly of Strowman, saying that kind of recapping what happened at SummerSlam, and then talking about how he beat him down last week too. Mm-hmm. And basically all he said was, at No Mercy, Lesnar's going to unleash the beast, because that's kind of his go-to thing.
Welcome to Suplex City, bitch.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that, something like that later on. But I do have something to note about that.
Okay.
But yeah, it was one of the precise.
Oh yeah, it was
solid promo. And I know that Paul Heyman is one of the best, but he's also been known to
ramble on.
Yes. So when you have him at the beginning of the 9 o'clock hour, for one, so it's in a good spot, but it's not in a major spot. It's short. It's to the point. Only has the two of them in the ring, which is all you need. And that's the best way to pull off.
We had Strowman come out last week, which set the tone. And
So I think this was done almost perfectly. There's nothing I can do with tweak to it, but there's only so much you can, or only so good it could be anyway.
Yeah. So up next we had the match I've been looking forward to since this feud started: Seth Rollins versus Cesaro.
Yeah.
So this was I don't know why they did this, but I guess before they had come out, right? They announced that the match was up next.
Yes.
And then Sheamus or was it Seth went to
Seth
the ring?
and Dean came
went to the
out
ring
first. Yes.
And then they cut to
commercial,
right? And then they talk about what happened with Cena and Reigns last week.
Yeah, when they came back, they did a recap with Cena and Reigns.
It felt like Rollins and Ambrose were in the ring for a good 3 or 4 minutes, and then since they go to commercial,
it was probably longer than that.
All right, yeah,
it was probably like 5, 6.
That's fair.
It could have been closer to 10 minutes based off the commercial plus the recap thing.
Because I went to the bathroom when I came back, and I'm like, well, why is this?
That was a fast match.
I was like, I missed it.
So actually, what I think could have happened is that thing that they played in between was supposed to be played at the very beginning of the show, but but he messed up. And there's like, oh, we really got to play this before the segment starts.
Vince is going to yell at me.
Well, also the fact that this segment, the segment with Rollins and Cesaro, was really long.
Yeah.
So obviously they needed to get it in before what happened afterwards.
Right.
So, but yeah, this was a good match, obviously,
as
between
expected.
the two of them. There was a lot of teasing of interference on Sheamus's behalf.
He got up on the apron once or twice, right?
Yeah.
And then
Well,
just jaw-jacking with Seth and stuff like that.
Because Seth was on the outside and Dean was coming over because Sheamus was going after him or kind of like walking towards him.
Yeah.
But nothing really happened of it until the very end of the match, at least.
Yeah, because Sheamus and Dean were, I guess, going at it outside the ring, right?
Yeah. And, because I think Sheamus jumped up on the apron, and then Dean pulled him down.
That's right.
And that distracted Seth, which allowed Cesaro to
roll him up.
Well, he hit him with a European uppercut,
that's right.
and then he rolled him up for the win.
He grabbed tights on that one?
I don't think so. I don't think that was part of the story going, or part of the whole cohesiveness. So after that, after they had won, they were celebrating for a little bit, showed replays, blah, blah, blah. Sheamus grabs the microphone, says, Dean, don't go anywhere.
Very excited about their victory.
Well, yeah. Dean, don't go anywhere. We're up next. So it was very confusing for the commentary team because it seemed as if they didn't know this was going to happen. It's like, oh, well, I guess that Kurt Angle already said that this was all right.
Yeah.
Because the referee was in the ring.
Yeah.
Because they
I was
really...
like, referees don't ref back-to-back matches very often.
Well, if they don't leave the ring, then it doesn't matter.
No, I know.
But it's just funny because they've been so big on the on the general manager making matches.
Right. Usually they cut to commercial and they come back and like, oh, just,
So
during the break.
They don't know what to do when they accidentally skip that whole waiting part. So... But then it was Sheamus and Dean.
Yeah, and Dean ended up getting the win. Cesaro was distract the referee.
Yeah, I guess he was trying to help Sheamus.
Yeah, he got up on the apron, right?
Yeah, it was on the apron.
Yeah, and then Seth jumped onto the ropes and hit the flying knee or whatever you want to call it.
I'd like to note the fact that Seth was inches away from the referee when he did it. He literally did it. He probably almost hit the ref when he jumped up on the...
His blinders on.
Yeah. So, but he hits him with the high knee, and then Dean hits him with the dirty deeds, and Dean pins Sheamus.
Yep.
But yeah, there was not a surprise.
No, but what is No Mercy? 3 weeks away?
It's I think
3 weeks away from this past Sunday, probably.
Yeah, it's like not August, September, like 20s, or so.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with the with this feud. Well, but I mean, I guess they.
You
could
mean
just keep
going
it
forward on Raw?
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be singles matches here and there. Maybe Seth and Dean will fight the Club, and then Cesaro and Sheamus will fight. I don't know, Heath Slater and Rhino to see who's going to win the #1 contendership. Oh, no. They have a rematch.
Rematch goals.
So I guess that's probably just going to get pushed off until...
Or maybe they'll have a contract signing next week or something like that.
But it really is hard to say what exactly is going to...
Yeah.
But right now they're even. They both have a win. So moving forward... Well, the commentators also noted the fact that Dean and Seth couldn't afford to lose 2 matches in a row.
Right, yeah.
Which is kind of silly because they have the titles. They're not on the line. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But, I guess they have to try to build the suspense.
True. So up next we had a backstage segment with Emma and Mickie.
Yeah.
This was not very good.
Yeah, they were talking about, Emma's...
Give her a chance and all this other nonsense.
Well, she said that she was trending after her match against Nia Jax last week.
Yeah, because give Emma CPR, right?
That's
what Mickie said. That was what was trending.
And Emma didn't really want to hear any of it.
Yeah.
And they came up with the stipulation that if Emma wins, then Mickie has to tweet something that she wants out. But if Mickie wins, then...
Emma can no longer say that she started the women's revolution.
Yeah, so... Because technically speaking, Mickie is more of a candidate for starting a women's revolution than Emma.
Yeah.
Because it might not have been anywhere near the time she was around, but she was certainly one of the
pioneers.
Her, Trish Stratus, Lita.
Yeah.
Because
just everything kind of, I don't know.
She was in a time when there was only a few standouts.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it was.
Oh, yeah. That was like Beth and everything, too.
Yeah. Well, Beth was a little after her.
That's right, yeah. But I mean, I guess you could still.
She was one of the standouts. That's the thing.
Yeah, very good.
All right, so
up next we had that match.
Yes.
Which Emma won.
It was really short.
Yeah.
And it kind of just ended very abruptly.
Emma, she like jumped on top of her and pulled her down. And
yeah, it's not very often because she did the thing where like you kind of sit on their chest. It's not very often where you get the pin with that.
No.
So, but yeah, that was the end of the match. And then Emma goes onto the outside, grabs a microphone, and instead of saying anything important, just keeps on repeating.
I started the women's revolution
over and over again
as she goes backstage.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was probably the lowest segment on Raw, hands down.
By far, yeah. Considering how good everything else was, or is.
And it's a shame because I don't know if it's both shows really that they have such a hard time with the secondary storyline for women. Yeah, SmackDown. It was just bad this week.
I disagree. I kind of like what they're doing
on SmackDown
with the Tamina thing.
Yeah,
I think that it could end up being good. I think the potential's there.
All right. When we get to SmackDown, we'll discuss it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's true.
All right. Very good.
Anywho,
yeah. Oh, boy. Here we go.
So, this was probably the best segment.
In quite some time.
I want to say, I don't think I've ever seen a better segment live on a wrestling show.
Yeah.
I think
that's promos. Yeah.
I think I can honestly say that.
And usually the contract signings are crap.
Bad, yes. This is the second time that Cena's done something like this. Because right before WrestleMania, he did it with The Miz.
Yeah, and that was so good because The Miz looked like he was going to cry.
Yeah, because right before, right after, because I think we did a recap of that episode.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The Superstar... Oh, no.
No, we might not have done
it.
But we
we
referred to it, I think. Mm-hmm. Or we were just talking.
Probably.
And I said that you put The Miz and Cena together and just have them do this periodically, and you'll have gold every single time.
Oh, yeah.
It turns out he doesn't need a specific person. He just needs motivation.
Mm-hmm. All right, so before we get into this...
Because we didn't really talk about what we're talking about yet.
No. So originally, I didn't expect this match to happen this quick. Kind of figured they were going to build it up to later on, to a match at Survivor Series.
You mean not at No Mercy?
Yes. But I think maybe part of WWE's thinking was that they didn't want this to be on a big show and the crowd just completely take over the match and kind of ruin it. Mm-hmm. Because like we saw last week, we got the "You both suck" chant.
Yeah, but I think they kind of know that's going to happen regardless.
Right, but
I think because what they want to do is make this a main event.
It's going to be a long feud.
Yeah, well, no, I was going to say what they want to do is make it main event a big show, but they know that if they do a one-off, then it's not going to, like you said, be received well.
Yeah. And also, I don't know, football season starting back up. I don't know if they want something big.
You mean a storyline going? I don't know how long Cena's going to be around.
I don't know. Lesnar's this is his last scheduled pay-per-view
until the Rumble, probably.
Probably. What else I was thinking? This is also the only pay-per-view of September, so they probably want to make it big.
I guess
because I don't know what the not ratings, but the
Hell in a Cell is only 2 weeks later.
It's true.
So it's not like it's the only one for a long time.
No, but it's still the only one of September.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think this is Cena's not going to be around for a while afterwards, so they want to.
So maybe they'll stop it and then pick it back up.
Yeah, they want to set up the story, so maybe Reigns will face off against somebody.
Yeah.
Joe again or something like that, because technically he's never had a one-on-one with Joe yet.
I'm going to say this now, just my thought.
But
Cena goes over for the first one, and Roman kind of builds himself up, and
he has to.
Yeah.
Because
he's going to use the shovel.
Well, that's not what's going to be happening, but it would be perceived that way. So let's actually introduce the segment.
All right.
Angle comes out for the contract signing between Roman Reigns and John Cena. Mm-hmm. John Cena comes out first, and I guess he's under the assumption that Roman Reigns doesn't want this match. Mm-hmm. So he goes on and lists all the reasons why Cena wants the match, and the fact that Roman Reigns is
thinks he's the big dog. Right?
Yeah, and he's a company picked person, and he can't handle doing what he's been tasked to do.
Right.
That's why Cena's around, because if it was up to Reigns, then he wouldn't be able to fill the top guy slot. But yeah, so Roman comes out, says he's not afraid of Cena, despite what Cena may suggest. And then in retort to that, Cena goes what he was talking about.
I believe that's when he called Reigns a bootleg corporate version of John Cena.
Yeah.
And Roman went to respond, and he said one line, and then he forgot what he was going to say. And John was like, "It's all right, buddy. You're going to have to learn how to do a promo sooner or later."
Yeah.
Within your 5 years of being here.
It's only been 5 years.
Which is funny because somebody had a sign in the audience that said Roman still needs to work on his mic skills. And every time the camera turned to Cena, you could see the sign. That's
pretty funny, actually. Yeah. Maybe it was a plant.
And then after he said it, Reigns basically called Cena a fake-ass bitch.
Yes, I believe that was the words he used.
And said that Roman was the only one that John couldn't bury with his shovel.
Yeah, his golden shovel.
Which, I don't know why they would have said that. Like,
this was like the closest to shooting that they'll ever do.
Yeah, it was scripted, obviously.
Yeah, but
at this point, if I was Cena, I would have come back and said, you know what? Everybody that used that argument at least built their way up to where they were. They didn't get handed it to them.
Yeah, well, because at one point Cena had said that you're using the same argument that everybody else has. Yeah. So and
he said when you got the Intercontinental title, you
US
made title. Oh, no, I thought it was the Intercontinental. He said
he got U.S. title. From
Seth. Right. Yeah. He found it or took it as a demotion, and Cena was the one that had the U.S. challenge. And he said, I made guys like Kevin Owens and AJ Styles and whatnot.
So he used that title to build up people.
And then the line that did it all is that, and with John saying that the reason I can do my job part-time because you can't do your job full-time. That's the reason I'm still around.
Yeah.
And
it's just true.
Boy.
Certainly true.
Yeah. It was like John took what all the fans have been complaining about, and he's just being the voice now.
Yeah, well...
And, he doesn't give a crap anymore.
Well, he says specifically in the promo, he said, I have no Fs to give. So, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. I don't have the shovel. And he points to the audience.
Yeah,
they're the ones that control everything.
Yeah. And then he... I was kind of referencing this before. When Reigns says he calls Cena a fake ass bitch, he says it a second time afterwards. Yeah. But that one they censored.
That's it. Yes.
And so I guess the amount of
the
word
allowed one.
You're only allowed 2 B words.
Oh, okay.
Because remember Lesnar said it.
Oh, earlier. Oh, okay. So I didn't know if it was like one per person.
No. So It's just kind of funny because they do occasionally, they do it sometimes. But I guess USA is only okay with 2 of them.
Well, yeah, that goes back to DX and their announcement back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
We won't be saying these words from 9 to 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So after, this is going on, Reigns decides to sign the contract, and then he flips the table over. So they're kind of face-to-face, and then the club comes out.
Yeah.
Now, this was perfect. WWE did this so well.
Well, with Gallows and Anderson?
Yes. Well, them just coming out to kind of calm the audience and everything like that. It's like, what are the 2 top guys in the company doing arguing? And they were like, would they say that they were going to come out to beat up a couple of nerds?
I love them. That's so funny.
But I mean, WWE must have a good amount of faith in the 2 of them to constantly.
What, in the club?
Yeah,
they're great.
I know, but they also Reigns in a 2-on-1 match.
Yeah,
they've been interjected into a lot of.
I think when they came here, they came under the impression, well, maybe not under the impression, but they came with the plan that they're guys that are just there to instigate.
Right. Yeah,
they're not there to win. Mm-hmm. They're not there to be the top tag team. They're
there to
there
have fun.
They're there to put over people.
To be mean and make green.
Exactly. And they were there to beat up John Cena for
That's
a period
true.
of time.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking I'd like to see?
What?
Going back to, what was it, last year, when we had Gallows and Anderson and AJ versus Reigns and the Usos. I'd like to flip the roles around and have face AJ and face Club versus heel Usos and heel Roman.
Or kind of.
We're at the Roman doesn't matter.
Point.
You don't have to actually consider him a heel.
All you need to do is put him in place, and then
because, like I said, the Usos have completely changed up there.
Mm-hmm. So if you put the family thing in the equation, it's easy enough. Mm-hmm. It's easy enough to justify.
So yeah, Angle decided to make that tag match. And,
sure. I know he was there, but it's just funny because the whole thing we said before.
Yes. So this was a quick match. Actually, they had gotten some offense in. Yeah,
it was a decent.
They held John Cena.
Well, that was the story.
Yeah,
that Cena was trying to fight off Gallows and Anderson. Reigns sat in the corner.
Tag in.
Yeah, he was very unenthusiastically asking for the tag.
Yeah.
And eventually he got tagged in, and then that's when the match kind of started turning the other way.
Mm-hmm. Superman punches for everybody.
Yeah, and the ending of the match ended up being Cena holding up Anderson while he waited for Reigns to hit Gallows with a spear.
Yeah.
So that's funny because it was like a very delayed thing. Cena was just sitting there for a while. Yeah. So for the second time in a row in the last 2 weeks, John Cena and Roman Reigns teamed up together, despite the fact that they hate each other, to win a match.
Yeah, good stuff.
Going back to the promo when the club first came out, I love how they can automatically justify their position by saying whoever they are facing are not good brothers.
Oh yeah, they did say that.
Because it's like, what's with these guys? They're all getting all heated. That's not a good sign. That's not a sign of a good brother. So what we're gonna do is the two good brothers. We're gonna take care of the bad brother, and that's it.
The not good brothers.
It's great because it's automatic justification, and it's always nice when you can feel like, okay, this is why this person's doing it, and you get behind it.
Yeah.
So like I said, I think the club have certainly, even if this wasn't clear, that could have been the case from the beginning.
Right.
But now it's clear that this is what their purpose is.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're there to cause trouble, and they're there to make other people look good. So.
Yeah. Up next, we had Elias in the ring, and these were always so good.
This one wasn't bad.
No, I kind of I was putting two and two together as it was happening. But yeah, Elias came out and basically blamed the loss in the Battle Royal on the fans. So he was going to sing a song about Memphis.
Yeah, they seem to have forgotten the fact that if you're in a segment, you're not allowed to be in any other segments because they did that with him.
The club.
They did it with the club. They did it with someone else, I thought, but maybe not.
Yeah. No, I think that was it.
Yeah, it's possible.
But anyway, so he starts, does his whole bashing of Memphis and everything, which was classic as usual. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, Lawler gets on the mic, and I was like, oh, my God, he's going to challenge him. Wait, nope, he can't wrestle. And I was like, oh, wait, maybe the Honky Tonk. Nope, he's old as hell.
Honky Tonk, man.
This is his cousin. And then I was like, oh, my God, what if they brought out Elvis Wesley?
See,
and then
I never thought that, but I kind of thought that he was going to have someone take his place at the very least.
Yeah. So Lawler took issue with the song that Elias was singing
because he's from Memphis.
Mm-hmm. And then King calls out Elvis Wesley, which is Heath Slater dressed up as Elvis
in a very, very bad looking Elvis impersonation costume.
The crowd was not really having this.
They didn't really seem interested.
There was no response. Mm-hmm. So he came out and kind of was wiggling his hips and whatnot, and then Elias was doing it too, and then Elias had enough and just beat him up. But it was the perfect filler segment.
Yeah, it wasn't really a match. Well, there wasn't a match. He just hit him. Yeah, hit him with the drift away. Mm-hmm. That was it. Yeah. But I think, to be perfectly honest, is the weakest person they could have picked for from the Southpaw Regional Wrestling.
Oh yeah.
They could have picked. No, it would have been. I guess they couldn't have done it, but
really
it'd been funny if they picked AJ's character.
Oh yeah.
It wouldn't have made any sense,
No.
but it would have been funny.
And he's also on SmackDown.
I know, but they travel together,
It's true.
so it's not like they're that far away.
Very good.
But yeah, it wasn't bad. The crowd really didn't really get into it, but
I just love Elias, so you know.
of course. All right, so up next we have Renee Young backstage asking The Miz about his match against Jeff Hardy next week. And The Miz is going on about how it's not fair that Jeff Hardy only needed to win one match to face him, even though he was complaining earlier about not having matches for the IC title, so he was just being stupid.
Yeah, it was typical Miz stuff.
I think he was just upset because Axel or Dallas didn't win. So, but yeah, then he just up and leaves. He's like, I'm not answering any more questions.
Yeah.
And then after that, they jumped to Charlie asking Sasha Banks how she'll defend her title.
Yeah.
And she just says that she's going to make Alexa Bliss tap out.
Yep.
She obviously a lot more words, but
Yeah, pretty
it's all
quo,
the same,
though, you know.
same stuff. She didn't really answer the question.
No. And
So.
then up next, we had the main event.
Yes.
With Alexa Bliss trying to recapture her women's title.
Yes.
Sasha Banks.
Like I was saying before, I kind of figured as soon as they said that Cena and Reigns was happening before the
Was
main
that the
event.
10 o'clock hour, right?
Yeah, I think it was the beginning of 10 o'clock. I kind of knew that it was going to be the women's title match.
Yeah.
And that Alexa was probably going to win the title back.
This was a good match.
Yeah. Like you had said, this is probably Alexa Bliss's strongest showing, if not pretty damn close.
I think so. I mean, I feel like every time Bliss and Banks get in the ring together, they're getting better and better. They're
meshing better.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
and,
at the same time, you can say the same thing with Sasha and anybody.
right. No, that's true. But I think Alexa was given more. She obviously showed a couple new moves, and she was able to take the lead, whereas Sasha was taking the lead. And usually, matches where Alexa isn't the one controlling them, she seems to look like a less formidable opponent, I guess.
Well, she's probably see, here's the thing: Alexa is 100% performance center wrestler. Sasha's not.
Right, so she knows how to wrestle the WWE style and everything like that.
But she didn't learn like that.
No.
So whereas Alexa, her experience is 100% learning inside the WWE.
Yeah.
So for her, I'm sure it's a lot harder to pick up on stuff. So it's
true.
kind of expected.
Well, yeah, when you're only exposed to certain things, yeah, no, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
I think that's
a good
probably the biggest, because it might not be necessarily her ability to do things, but just her experience / exposure. So
No, that makes sense, absolutely.
because you could just kind of have to feel that way,
Yeah.
because everyone, a lot of the people in the indies don't face the same people over and over again.
No. Which,
So-
yeah, as we saw with the Mae Young Classic, you could see in just the video packages how well versed and things like that they were.
Exactly.
But
So,
yeah, we actually saw Bliss hit a superplex
Yeah.
on Sasha Banks.
I was
which
not
very
expecting
nice.
that to land.
And both of them were kind of selling the back, so they were took a little while to get up. And
Yeah.
Alexa was put into the bank statement.
Yeah,
by
well, she
Sasha.
crawled over to try to cover her,
right,
and
that's
then
right.
she
Flipped
then
her over.
Banks flipped her over for the bank statement.
Yeah.
Alexa gets out of it somehow. I think she kicks. I think she just gets up
Yeah. She
somehow when Alexa was trying to when Banks was trying to flip her over. She kind of just gets out of it.
Yeah.
And then they're like struggling against each other, and somehow Bliss ended up hitting the DDT on her. And then she pins her for the win. She wins her title back.
Not a huge surprise, but
No. Especially since it was the main event, and like you said, right before the Mae Young Classic was officially up.
which I think that it's good to see this type of wrestling when you in the Mae Young Classic you're seeing a lot of good matches.
Yeah.
You don't want to see the women treated like crap.
Well, they certainly weren't going to put Emma versus Mickie James on last.
No,
if they were gonna
obviously not.
do
but-
what they did.
But
So, and it's funny because right after the match, Nia Jax comes down to the ring to celebrate with Alexa, which was kind of different at first because obviously they had some kind of allegiance, but at the same time,
Yeah. Well, they do a lot of stuff on social media together and everything like that.
Yes, but that's also not technically canon on TV. So while, if it was backstage and they celebrated together, different story.
Right.
But she comes out, she lifts Bliss up on her shoulders, and then after a little while, she drops her with the electric chair drop.
Yep.
I'm like, oh man, that's cool. So that's good because now that sets up Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. Oh, and something I was leading to before, part of the reason why I kind of assumed that Alexa was going to win the title back is because of the No Mercy promo. That commercial that they played at SummerSlam.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
Where Alexa was like...
Yeah, you were surprised that she had dropped it at SummerSlam.
Yeah, so I think that there's a good chance that when they come out with the No Mercy cover, it's probably going to be Alexa Bliss on the cover of it.
Makes sense, yeah.
So you kind of figured she was going to win the title back. Also, as I noted in our SummerSlam review, that at least one person was going to win their title back.
Yeah.
And that was the one. Because someone
so
had
far.
to. Well... all the rematches had been...
We haven't had the tag title rematches from either show.
Yeah. That's it, though. Oh, no, the rematch for the women's title on SmackDown didn't happen either.
Yep.
So, I guess that's
We're getting
possible.
that next week, right?
Yeah, I don't see... No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, oh, okay.
I don't see any of those happening.
No, probably not.
So, this was the one.
But
yeah.
Yeah. So, like we said from the beginning, overall, really good Raw.
Very, very... very good considering because Raw has been consistently good.
Yeah, it has.
But this one was
Stood
just
out.
leap and bounds better. But yeah, it's a good show.
Yep.
If you liked what you saw here, please like, share, and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.